In this world of technology, things are ever changing, rearranging. You need someone to help you out. I know someone who can. Come and take a journey with me as we go through the land of technology. You'll never be alone. You'll be with Paul Amadeus Lane in the tech zone.
Welcome back to the show, our third and final segment of our special E3 coverage. We made it back in studio from EA Play that we were out there enjoying ourselves, checking out some gameplay and talking about the press conference and all that great stuff. So, I can't believe our coverage is coming to an end just on this day. But remember to follow me throughout the week of E3 on my social media. We're going to be streaming a lot of live content and a very, very special panel that I'm a part of. And I talked about this in the first and second segment. And that is going on at the E3 Coliseum. Got an opportunity I have the opportunity to be the moderator of a really, really special and informative panel, Accessibility in Games. And I'm so honored to be able to moderate that with some great guests, some disabled gamers, some video game developers, and it's going to be wild. A big shout out to our friends over at PlayStation for recommending me to Jeff Keighley, who is the creator and producer of the Gamer Awards. Jeff, thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. Hope I don't let you down, my friend. Hope I don't let you down. But we're going to end the show up with the way that wrap the show up with the way that we began, talking to one of my great friends, Tony Polanco. He and I are in studio now. We're going to talk about what we are looking forward to this E3 and some of the new features of E3 that we are appreciative about. So, without any further delay, let me bring on the Dominican Dominator himself. You know I had to do it. Today is Sunday. E3 actually started yesterday. Me and this man had a blast at the EA Play event, at the press conference and everything. Kind of interacted with a few fanboys, but we had some fun. My man, the Dominican Dominator, Tony Polanco, what's going on, bro?
Paul, man, what is good, bro? What is good?
Man, I can't even call it. See, my phone's blown up now with all these notifications buzzing and everything because E3 actually started yesterday, man. And a lot of people really don't realize that. You know, E3, I think it was last year, they started this with EA, when EA started, everything like a couple of days before E3. And what do you think about that? I think it's great, man, because it gives us an opportunity as journalists to check out some things and also not feel so rushed during that E3 week. What's your take on it, my friend?
Yeah, I got a slightly different take because the thing is, I'm from New York, right? So I got to fly out there like extra days, I actually like the fact when I used to fly in on Sunday and then everything would get popping on Monday, but now everything gets popping on Saturday. So your boy's going to be there, or I am already here since Friday. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but at the same time, I feel where you're coming from. It's like we get more days to spread the workout and stuff. We don't have to be too crazy because it's already like going to be crazy enough during the actual week itself, But yeah, EA is doing their, already did theirs on Saturday. Microsoft, they got theirs on Sunday. Sony on Monday. So everything's spread out a little bit because back in the day it was like everybody's on Monday,
Yeah. So,
I kind of see it both ways. Like, it's good for the coverage, but at the same time, it's like, for me, I'm like, I don't like being in LA that long, man.
Oh, come on, man. You know, the West Coast is the best coast, man. We got the best food. We got the best weather. No, but I feel, man, like when I go out of town, about a week's time is about all, that I feel up to, unless I'm on vacation. If I'm on vacation, I could be gone for 2 or 3 weeks. I'm fine. But working, about 7 days, I'm ready to come back. But, we always take good care of you in LA, man. That's where you and I met, man, at Microsoft, at Xbox, man, a few years ago, man. And, I was looking at some other things that's going on this year at E3 and the Coliseum that's being run by Jeff Keighley from the Gamer Awards. And what they're doing is having people come out and play games, panels and everything. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be part of one of the panels that Jeff was putting on. But, when we look at, since it was open to the public last year, a lot of this fan interaction, do you think that's really helping E3 to keep on going and breathe some more life in it so it never goes away?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, because obviously E3 was a trade show for most of its life. Now it's becoming just a public show. This is what I always said. Like, everybody knows about Gamescom, Tokyo Game Show. Those shows were the E3 of their respective countries. now E3 is the Gamescom of America. Like we're taking cues from them now, because theirs is a combination of press and public. So we're doing that. But I think that is what's going to keep E3 relevant, because this is a discussion we've had on our podcast even last night, where we were talking about how E3 is not exactly that relevant anymore, in the sense of that you get news anytime, anywhere, because of the internet and stuff. E3 back in the day, it was like E3 was the only place that journalists could congregate together and get all this news and stuff. Now you can get news wherever, so it's not as important. So I think that's why you need it to be open to the public. I'm still not exactly a big fan of that myself as a journalist who has to go out there and run through all these people and stuff. But I understand why they need to do it in order to survive. So I think this is going to help it, in the long run.
And you bring up a very good point, Tony. It's a little bit more difficult for me and you, both being confined to wheelchairs and everything, that, the navigate and everything. And one thing I really appreciate this year that E3 is doing for us is that we're allowed to go in a few hours, certain days, to check out some things. And my good friend, she works over at the electronic software organization that puts on E3. Her name is Delara Darkashani, and she is the one of the counsel over there, one of the lawyers over there. And I'm gonna really sing the praises of just how accessible it is for you and I, because if not, we're gonna put them on blast, right?
Yeah, we have to, man. Last year, I'm not gonna get into it, but last year there was some sketchy stuff. I remember the first day they opened doors at 12, right? My first appointment was at 12. I get on the line. I'm trying to go through. I'm like, yo, I'm pressed. They're like, we don't care if you're pressed. Get on the line. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm almost in a wheelchair too, son. Yeah. But they did not care. But thankfully, my first appointment, they already knew people were going to be late, so they postponed it by 15 minutes. But I'm like, come on, man, you got to give us a little bit of extra, like leeway. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, man.
Absolutely, and that's why we'll sing the praises of our friends over at PlayStation, PSX. Yeah, when it comes when we're covering PSX, they have one little section for us. We can go right in. We don't have to wait, and it's awesome. And I think more and more organizations are doing that, because Microsoft even does that. When we go for it later on today at the Xbox press conference, they have a little area for us. Tony and I get to cut the line and have some fun, and whoever's with us get to cut the line too. That's pretty cool. So I know Emilio's going to enjoy that, isn't he?
Oh yeah. But crazy, man. Yeah, you're right about that. Sony and Microsoft never had any issues with them.
Yeah. So hopefully they'll step up to the plate with it. Now, what are some things that you're most looking forward to at E3? I'm looking forward for Hideo-san. I can't wait to see what he has in store. He's been tweeting out some cryptic messages about something he is going to show there. But what are you most looking forward to?
Yeah, well, first off, definitely looking forward to whatever Xbox is going to be showing, because again, Xbox has had a pretty bad generation. You can't even say bad year; it's had a bad generation. And it seems like we always want something to be shown at every E3. We kind of get a little things, here and there. Like I know they announced backwards compatibility and all that, but it's like, man, you guys need to show something big, man, because this generation is about to be over pretty soon. You got to blow it out there. So looking forward to that. And then, like you said, Hideo Kojima, he's going to have Death Stranding. Hopefully we'll finally get some gameplay, because again, we've just seen these weird trailers for the game, but I want to see some actual meaty gameplay and maybe even a release date. I think the game's actually coming a little bit sooner than people expect. And what else? Sony's probably going to have more Spider-Man, Days Gone, Last of Us 2, a bunch of other things. As a matter of fact, it's funny you mentioned that, because right now a bunch of stuff has been leaking. So I'm also hoping a lot of stuff isn't leaked by the time the shows come on. And Ubisoft, I'm really looking forward to seeing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which was announced. Actually, it got leaked first, and then which forced them to announce it. Looking forward to that. It's gonna be a good show, man. I'm just looking, and as always, whatever little surprises show up during the thing. The surprises are always the most fun thing, because you're not anticipating those.
Tony, you bring up a very good point, especially about Ubisoft. They kind of leaked that themselves. Remember that trailer that said "See you at E3"? They
Well, the thing is, they were forced to do that, because earlier that day, somebody tweeted out a keychain.
Yeah, I remember that.
Ubisoft. Yeah, so Ubisoft like, here you go.
and it's kind of interesting too, about keeping leaks close to the best. I know Sony and PlayStation do a pretty good job of doing that. I remember I was up at the campus a few weeks ago in San Mateo, and Sam Thompson, one of the gaming developers, he and I was chatting, and it was a group of us, and he was talking about The Last of Us, and the lead attorney over there, Kevin Chung, he looked over at him like, okay, don't say no more, because they really don't want a lot of stuff leaking. I'm like you, man. Don't spoil it for me. I hate when people talk about movies they've seen and tell me and spoil it. I'm like, let me see it for myself. I want to be surprised. I want to be shocked. And looking at some of the other things that are happening at E3 about the peripherals and everything. I know there's an embargo right now I can't talk about. There's some gaming headsets coming out for sports, for esports,
Yeah.
And what do you think about the peripherals now kind of making a big jump into what we see at E3 now? Because peripherals are kind of what breathes the lifeline in consoles. Can we say that correctly, Tony? Or what do you think about how important are peripherals when it comes to the lifespan of consoles?
Yeah, I think now that E3 is a public show, they have to show off more peripherals because they want to sell you peripherals. But yeah, obviously controllers, headsets, all that stuff is good. What I'm interested in, and I'm pretty sure you are too, as gaming journalists that are also handicapped, I want to check out that Xbox adaptive controller. The one that's specifically made for people with disabilities. I really want to check that one out. See how that works. Actually, just to give myself a little plug here, I actually did an interview with Steven from Able Gamers. Really great interview because his organization actually helped with the development of that controller. So I went really in depth into how that controller was made. So I'm hoping that when I go to the Xbox thing, they'll let me at least test it out myself. That's really cool controller.
Yeah, Steven is really cool. Got a chance to meet him at PSX, and he's an awesome guy. And I'm glad they're doing that. As a matter of fact, later on today, when we're at an Xbox briefing, I'm hoping that we do get some hands on with that because I'll be able to talk. I'm going to talk to someone in that area to talk about that and what it means out there. And when we talk about adaptive gaming equipment now, this is something true to my heart and your heart because we both have a disability. And even for others out there who may not have a disability, let's say my goal is to get a lot of people a part of disabled community gaming. But not only that, I want to get the senior community gaming too. That's my goal. And controllers like that will help them because maybe their reactive time is not that good like they did when they were younger. But I done seen some grandparents smack some kids real quick, so they got some pretty good, timing when it comes to their reflexes and everything. But what do you think? Do you think we finally reached that time now when it comes to gaming, Tony, where they're learning and keeping in mind to make gaming inclusive for all? Or do you think some are not quite there yet? What's your take on it?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to these peripherals, specifically, I think we're finally getting it. I don't think we're like 100% there. You said even the Xbox controller, as great as it is still a kind of prototype, or at least it's the first one out of the gate. So I'm hoping that companies like PlayStation and Nintendo, they're going to get on board and start doing this too, because even though gamers have been basically there's been a lot of organizations that have created controls like these, even Able Gamers for years now, right? But this is the first time where someone's doing it on an official capacity, like as far as like one of the big three manufacturers goes. So yeah, I think we're finally getting there, and I like the fact that the controller is made specifically for people with disabilities. Like if you're an able-bodied gamer, this is not a controller for you, because before, as Steven said in my interview, they would try to make the controller accessible to everybody. It's like that kind of defeats the purpose here. Like 99% of controllers out there are for able-bodied persons, so why not have a controller that's specifically for us? And I think that's a great thing, and I really do expect Sony, PlayStation to get on board really soon with this, because they're really good when it comes to accessibility. That's something that's very important to the company, so I expect them to do their variation pretty soon. Maybe not this year, but probably next year. So I fully expect something.
Absolutely. And because I signed that NDA when I went up there, I can't talk about it, but just look at my smile.
Yeah,
that'll just say it right there. But and I like to talk about this too when it comes to gaming. We're starting to see a lot of games, the settings inside to have the different accessibility controls. I know Uncharted 4 was one that really just like changed the game when it came to that. And then you also had like I can't say it, but Tony, when we look at just gaming as a whole, there may be some haters out there. They be like, "Oh, you're cheating because you have this." I met some gamers, deaf gamers, man, and they defeated Destiny, and we were actually up at PlayStation together. And these guys, they beat some of the guys who work for PlayStations for deaf gamers, man, and they kick some butts. But some people say, oh, they're cheating because they're doing this and that. Well, what's your take on that? Being in the biz like me.
I don't see. Here's the thing. I don't see if that's cheating. If you already have a disadvantage, if you're given an option that puts you on an even playing field, how is that cheating? I don't really understand that. But I think it's just, here, how it is on the internet, man. There's always trolls and stuff. So you gotta just, like ignore that noise and just keep, making games more inclusive for everybody like that. But again, it's like my point is like if you're already at a disadvantage and you get something to bring you to be even, how is that cheating? I really don't understand that mentality, man. But things are definitely getting better in that. I like that Sony and Microsoft are having, they give you the ability to remap your controls, and that's not only just good for people with handicaps. It's good for everybody. It's like, why should you be tied down to one specific control scheme? Why can't you make your own control scheme? I know PC gamers, they could make their control schemes, all day, every day, but console gamers are only finally in that option. So I kind of see it more as like, yeah, you guys are finally catching up to where PC's at in that realm.
Good, well said. Well said. I'm looking forward to what Alienware have.
Yeah.
I got some appointments with them about their new gaming PCs. One spot that I always like to go visit, and maybe you do too, is the Indiecade. That's where all the independent developers are there, get a chance to see what they have. I know a lot of gaming for smartphones. Who would have thought that now, Tony, that we're seeing like, developers there for smartphones and the games, being a part of E3. But it really shows, where we're at in the stream of things. And what would your take on gaming on mobile devices?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting how you could play an entire game on something as small as this, right? I'm just being real right now. I'm not particularly a big fan of mobile gaming. I like gaming, on front of my TV with a controller, right? But I do think it has brought gaming to the masses in that way. I'm pretty sure there's more people gaming on their phones and gaming on consoles just because there's just more phones out there. It's pretty interesting. I do like the fact that the technology is getting better and better because if you remember those first smartphone games, you know what I'm saying? They're very questionable looking games, but now they're getting better. And also, just to be fair, there are a lot of peripherals out there where you can actually stick your phone on and like the peripheral looks like a controller. You put your phone on there and you're playing a game just like a regular game. So that's pretty cool too. It's kind of interesting how that's kind of made handheld gaming a little bit irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? Like hardcore guys will still buy handheld consoles like the 3DS or whatever, but like most people are like, why should I buy a handheld when I can just play my phone? You know what I'm saying? It's very interesting how things have just shifted like that,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. What do you think is going to come out from the Nintendo during our time at E3? What do you think is going to be announced? Use your inner Jedi and tell me, how you think it's going to go for Nintendo.
Man, listen, one thing I've learned about the Switch is my predictions about Nintendo are always wrong. So I am staying away from Nintendo predictions, man. Like for the most part, because I'm just being real right now. I expected the Switch to be a flop. It is selling gangbusters. Matter of fact, in 2019, it's already expected to outsell the Xbox One. Think about that. That is insane. But I expect, this is expect/hope. New Smash Brothers, right? They're going to show that because I believe that's coming out this year. We're going to get Pokemon. We're going to get Metroid because a lot of these games, you just had a logo before, right? Last year, they showed your logo. So I'm expecting gameplay from those. They're not going to have the virtual console, which is very upsetting, but I do expect them to at least announce what their online plans are going to be. They already kind of announced it, but we need a little bit more information there. But yeah, when it comes to Nintendo, I think a lot of people have realized that this generation, they are not to be underestimated. And whatever you think they're going to do, they're going to do something else, and it's going to be a success.
Tell me about it, my friend. And there's one area I think where Nintendo's really missing the boat, if we can be real about it, is accessible gaming. Because I deal with a lot of young kids who have disabilities who would love to get into gaming. And, because of not being able to hold certain things and, I that's just my take. I may be wrong, but I think they're missing the boat when it comes to because kids love Nintendo. Nintendo, that's like, even though us grown-ups play it too, but I think they're missing the boat with that. But hopefully when they see like these other ones, you're making sure that they have an accessibility branch, reaching out, coalition, whatever you call it, to help them to just make it more inclusive for the kids out there who have a disability. That's just my take. And Tony, I know you may have a different one.
Yeah. Here's the thing, during my interview with Steven, right, I asked him, do you expect these companies, PlayStation and Nintendo, to actually do anything like the Xbox Adaptive Controller? He said he believes Sony will. He gave me a little wink too because I think he knows something I don't. And he said, he kept it real. He was like, I expect that Nintendo in 20 to 30 years will start to maybe consider it. Like, that's how backward, I'm just being honest right now. That's how backward Nintendo is in this era. They do not see accessible gaming as a viable thing. You know, it's really sad because Nintendo's one of the biggest companies out there. And like you said, kids love Nintendo, but they're very slow to get on board with this sort of stuff, you know? And I know, you know, Steven was kind of saying that in just like 20 or 30 years, but I can kind of believe it. Nintendo's very slow on the uptake, very, very slow on the uptake. And it's sad that it's that way, you know?
Well, hopefully you and I both being in the industry and the biz and also gamers, hopefully we can use our bully pulpit, you know, to beat them to submission and let them know that, hey, you know, don't miss the boat when it comes to this. I mean, if you do, you know, others will take that spoils. Cause I know when that accessible controller went out with Microsoft, I know some guys who didn't even have Xbox systems, went out and bought them just so that they can try this new controller. So, you know, not only does it make dollars, but it makes sense too as well.
Yep. Exactly.
All right.
Yeah, well put, my friend.
The Dominican Dominator, before I let you go, because we got to get on to the Xbox briefing this morning. Anything else you'd like to say out there to the fans and all the other folks out there?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the usual, you know, thank you guys for having me on. If you want to check me out, go over to Twitter. I am Romudeth there, Romudeth. And I am going to be covering the heck out of E3. So please watch my feed. There's a lot of stuff coming. Not only am I going to be doing my reports for geek.com, I'm also going to be doing a lot of stuff for my podcast, Throwdown, a lot of content out there. And, you know, just in general, you know, put the fanboy stuff away this week, guys. Enjoy gaming. This is the week to celebrate games. That's what it should be about. Put the nonsense away and just have fun with all these announcements. There's a lot of good stuff coming down the pipeline.
Well said, my friend. I look forward to chatting with you. And then don't be surprised if you see me and Tony doing a stream together or two. We can catch a break from what we're doing. But always great talking to you, my friend. Hey, looking forward to seeing you in a few hours at Microsoft, man.
Yeah, you already know, man. I'll see you there.
All right.
Later.
Yeah, you know how we do. All right. Well, that's the end of our show. And don't forget, our E3 coverage is going throughout the whole week. We're on our way to the Microsoft Xbox E3 briefing in a few hours. So make sure you're following me on social media. Go to paulamadeouslane.com, my website, and you can check out all my social media platforms. You don't want to miss our live coverage. So until next week, guys. No, until later on today, if you're following me on social media and everything, look forward to bringing you all the updated information. Also follow Tony Polanco too, at Romudeth on the Twitter. And you can find out all the great things that he and his crew are going to talk about as well. All right, until next time, I love you guys. Take care.
In this world of technology, things are ever changing, rearranging. You need someone to help you out. I know someone who can. Come and take a journey with me as we go through the land of technology. You'll never be alone. You'll be with Paul Amadeus Lane in the tech zone.